Hello, and welcome to History 132, Section 9. My name is Joseph Caver. I'm an adjunct instructor. I'm new at this online teaching, so please bear with me. Uh, I'm an alum of the school. If you've taken freshman orientation, you probably ran across the Marion Nine, the incorporators of the school. I'm the discoverer of the Marion Nine. I'm published, wrote the history of the Tuskegee Airmen, and have a new publication coming out at the end of the month called From Marion to Montgomery, the Early History of Alabama State, 1867 to 1925. I'm currently working on this project as we speak. But anyway, the class, I have loaded on Blackboard a course map as well as the course syllabus. Hopefully, you have read or digested the syllabus. I'm not going to read the syllabus to you. It gives you all of my contact information, my email, my telephone number, and other ways to get in touch with me. Now, this course will provide a fundamental knowledge of the past from about 1600 AD through the present. And we'll look at Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. It is designed to enhance the student competent reading, writing, quantitative information, literacy, knowledge, and skills while exploring the history and experience of people in these areas of the world. Now, I know the biggest question is, well, how do I pass this course? Evaluation. Uh, there will be 4 tests given consisting of 50 multiple choice questions, and it will be given after we complete every 3 chapters. So the first test will cover chapter 16, 17, and 18. And then we will have our first exam. So it is on your, make that 16, 17, and 19, and 20. It'll be 4 chapters instead of 3. Now, to prepare you for the exam, I will load a study guide. Many of you have taken me in History 131, so you know how the study guide system works. I provide you the answers to the questions on the test. I'm also asking you to read chapter 16 on global acceleration and the contact made in the 15th, 16th, 17th century. So 4 exams, 50 questions each, that's 400 points that you could earn. Your 5th and final assignment is a 5-page research paper, and I have sent you a list of topics that you can choose from, or choose another topic. Anything that took place after 1600 is permissible, not something that took place before 1600. So choose your topic and let me know as soon as possible. The textbooks. Is A History of World Society, Volume 2. This is the book we will be using. Make sure it's Volume 2. Make sure it's not Volume 1. Volume 1 is for History 131. Volume 2 is for History 132. Now, why the text? Well, basically for your knowledge. You won't need the text to pass the exam, but you may need it to write your research paper. But to teach yourself, and that's what this is all about in college, teaching yourself. I can direct you. So when I say read chapter 16, it's up to you. I'm not gonna stand over you. I'm not gonna test you, but whether you read the chapter. But the book is available. Now, there are 11 editions of this book. The first edition, second edition, third edition will work just fine. Uh, I would suggest buying a used copy instead of a new copy. And I would check with Amazon and other vendors and the bookstore if you want to purchase the book. Uh, what else do I need to tell you about this course? Well, we're going to keep it as simple as possible. The more work I give you, the more work I have to do. And you can look at all this gray hair. I've worked all my life. But it's up to you to pass the exam, write your research paper, and get out of this class with an A, B, C. Not a D or F. If you do, you have to repeat the course. Now, briefly, let's look at chapter 16. That's what we're doing this week. Chapter 16 is entitled The Acceleration of Global Contact. When we left History 131, they had gone through the Protestant Reformation and the Renaissance. The Portuguese were leading the way in exploration. The invention of a magnetic compass allowed them to sail down the Atlantic, around Africa, into the Indian Ocean, into Asia. And there they located spices and other things that was wanted or needed by the Europeans. So the Portuguese leads the way in this acceleration. But some 200 to 300 years before the Portuguese, an Italian, maybe get the phone, cut it off. An Italian named Marco Polo left Italy, went down the Silk Roads to China, and made it to China. There he visited with the Kublai Khan. The Mongols had taken over China by that time. He learned a lot about the Chinese. Eventually, he made it back to Italy, and he was the talk of the town. He published a book about his travels, but he introduced the Europeans to silk and spaghetti and pasta and the other goods and lifestyles of the Chinese. So that's opened up the floodgates. So now everybody want to make contact with the Africans, the Asians, and the only way going overland through the Silk Road is not feasible. So travel by sea, and the Portuguese lead the way. And of course, on the Iberian Peninsula is Portugal and Spain. The Spanish would follow, and we all know the story about Columbus in 1492 on 3 ships landed in the Caribbean, and it's given the credit for discovering America. Well, as you know from History 131, he could not have discovered it because people had populated the earth the Americas thousands of years before the Spanish came. In fact, the Northmen had already made it to Greenland and across to Newfoundland some 500 years before Columbus. But it gave the Spanish a head start. Also the Portuguese. The Portuguese concentrated their effort on Brazil. Now, the most important commodity driving this is conquest and the need to secure valuable minerals. So after Columbus came, he was followed by conquistadors or explorers. I need to point out to you Ferdinand Magellan. He's the first to circumnavigate the globe. He sailed across the Atlantic into the Caribbean to the Isthmus of Panama, disassembled the ship, pushed them across the mountains, and reassembled them in the Pacific, ended up sailing across the Pacific to the Philippine Island, where he was killed in the Philippines, but his crew escaped and sailed down the South China Sea around Africa back to uh, Spain. So Ferdinand Magellan is first to be known as the circumnavigator of the globe. Uh, but the Spanish conquistadors, particularly Cortez, uh, who conquered the Aztecs and later the Incas in South America would be conquered. So these Spanish and Portuguese explorers are the leaders in exploring the Americas, both North and South America. Well, the French and the English, they wanted peace out. The English were moving to the Atlantic seaboard. The French were moved into Canada and down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. So you had the continent being competed over by the Portuguese, the Spanish, the English, and the French. Now, after the conquest of the Aztecs and the Incas, the Spanish established a new form of government. But first, they almost wiped out the population of these indigent people, mainly because of the introduction of diseases that could not the indigent people had no immunity to: measles, whooping cough, smallpox, and you name it. So it was not only the technology of the Europeans, but the disease they brought with them that succumbed to the indigent people. Now, when the Spanish came, they established an encomienda system and the Columbian Exchange. That Columbian Exchange we're going to talk about later, but if it's not on your chapter 16 PowerPoint slide, it will appear later. This is exchange of goods and services between Africa, Europe, and the Americas. I would point out to you the European introduced the horse to the Americas. Now, watching TV, you would think the horse had been here all the time, but no, it was the Spanish who brought the horses into America. So this increased contact with the outside world led Europeans to develop new ideas about cultural and racial difference. Debate occurred in Spain and its colony over the nature of the indigent people of the Americas and how they should be treated. Europeans had long held negative attitudes about Africans, and they implemented the African slave trade. Remember what I told you. Most African Americans associate slavery with the staple cotton, but it was sugar that drove the initial African slave trade. The European wanted something sweet in their pastries, and of course, molasses and other goods made from sugar cane. But that was the driving force behind that. But when they got here, they needed labor, and this is what led to the indigent people would die rather than be a slave. So they turned to the Africans to provide labor to produce sugar, later indigo, rice, and then finally, after Eli Whitney invention of the cotton gin, the growing and harvesting of cotton. Religion became another means of cultural contact as European missionaries came with the explorers, and they brought with them their brand of Christianity and introduced it to the New World. I can go on, but look at the PowerPoint slide. If you have a book, read the chapter. Otherwise, you're fine. This course is going to be easy and simple, and we hope to make it fun. Looking forward to working with you. Be blessed and stay safe. Out.